In this video, I shall share with you 5 rights that landlords have. Hi, my name is Olawale Iyinolakan, and this is Brief Design Workshop Series. I help people navigate the often difficult landscape of the real estate and property world. If this is your first time, be sure to subscribe and click that bell notification icon so you do not miss out on any of the free stuff that I bring you every week. In general, a landlord-tenant relationship exists if, number 1, the landlord consents to the occupancy of the premises. Number 2, the tenant agrees that the landlord has the title to the property. Number 3, the landlord indeed has a title to the property. Number 4, the tenant receives a limited right to the property. Number 5, the landlord transfers the possession and control of the property to the tenant. And number 6, there is an agreement between both parties. Now, tenants, excuse us. We want to talk to the chairman. Oh yeah? Let's dive right in. Landlord right 1, right to issue quit notice. No be by force. In Nigeria, a landlord has the right to rent or rent his property to a tenant. He has the right to refuse rent to anyone. Sadly, in Nigeria, we don't have laws against discrimination against creed, religion, or disabilities yet. So a landlord can refuse to rent his property to you just because he doesn't like your face. For a landlord's right to unrent or fire a tenant, he has to do it within the ambits of the law. However, as a landlord, there are instances where you can fashy issuing a quit notice. Don't dull. Let me quickly tell you about it. Number 1, where in the tenancy agreement, the tenant has waived his right to a quit notice. Number 2, where the tenant uses the property for something other than what was agreed in the tenancy agreement. Number 3, when the tenant has owed for more than 3 consecutive months. And number 4, when the tenancy has expired and the tenant hasn't renewed his rent. In any of the 4 above cases, the landlord can refrain from issuing a quit notice and go straight to the 7 days notice of owner's intention. Landlord's right 2, right to issue 7 days notice. As a landlord, you have the right to issue a 7 days notice of your intention to recover your premises from the tenant. The caveat is that a quit notice must always precede this, except in cases where the tenant has waived their right to a quit notice. This notice must always be drafted by a lawyer, because at the end of the 7 days, the lawyer will proceed to court and ask the court to evict the tenant and then recover unpaid rent. Landlord right 3, right to enter a lent property. As long as you own the property, once a landlord, always a landlord. A landlord has the right to supervise or monitor his property to avoid damage from destructive clients. This must be done within the tenant's right to privacy and family life. You should not resort to self-help or harassment, as a tenant has the right to sue you for trespass. Landlord right 4, right to renew tenancy. As a landlord, it is your right to renew tenancy or refuse without even giving any excuse. Landlords should always endeavor to put in a tenancy renewal clause in the agreement, which stipulates a minimum time whereby the tenant must come and indicate that he intends to renew his rent. Beyond that time, a landlord can refuse rent to any tenant. And finally, right to review rent. Did I get an amen? It is your right as a landlord to review your rent. This also must be done within the ambits of the law, as a review in rent doesn't affect the subsisting rent, but for a new rent. So for instance, if you increase the rent, the tenant gets to pay the current rent out and then begin from the next year or the next month or the bottom line. Now that I've given you all the information and knowledge about your rights as a landlord, that means you can go and live peaceably and amicably with all your tenants. For more information about the duties and responsibilities of tenants to their landlords. Please stay tuned to this channel, and if you have any questions for me concerning this, you can put them in the comment section below and I will get to it. My name is Olawale Iyinolakan of Brief Design Workshop Series. Good afternoon.